First day was a disaster. Jennifer walked into Adam's office with a portfolio of bold, vibrant designs. She had spent all night working on them, pouring her heart into the typography and color palettes. "So?" she asked, leaning against his desk. "What does work Adam think?" Adam squinted at the screen. It's very purple. It's amethyst sunset, Adam. It evokes luxury and tranquility." "Right, but the client is old money gray. They want something that says, 'I own a yacht, but I don't talk about it.' This says, 'I have a glow stick, and I'm looking for a rave.'" Jennifer's smile faltered. "Are you saying you don't like it?" "I'm saying the client won't like it. As your boss, I have to tell you to tone it down." "As my boss?" Jennifer's voice rose an octave. "You've been my bosses for 10 minutes and you're already crushing my soul?" "I'm not crushing your soul. I'm protecting the West Side Project." By lunch, Work Jen had called Work Adam an uninspired corporate shill, and Work Adam had suggested that Work Jen couldn't handle constructive criticism. The tension spilled over into the evening. At the Bingham's apartment, Jeff and Audrey were watching the fallout with the detached interest of people watching a slow-motion car crash. "I told you," Jeff said, popping a grape into his mouth. "I brought Audrey on as my assistant for a month 10 years ago. It was the longest 48 hours of my life. I had to choose between losing a secretary or losing a wife. I chose to keep the wife because she's the only one who knows where the extra light bulbs are." "It's not that bad," Audrey said, though she looked unconvinced. "You just have to set boundaries." "There are no boundaries," Jennifer cried. "He insulted my amethyst sunset." "It was purple, Jen," Adam shouted from the kitchen. "It was a sunset, you ass face." Jeff leaned over to Audrey. "You see? This is better than TV. I don't even miss the satellite dish anymore." Eventually, the professional experiment ended the only way it could. Jennifer fired herself. "I quit," she said, standing in Adam's office the next morning. "You can't quit," Adam said. "I'm firing you. We need to cut our losses." "Fine, I'm fired. Now let's go get coffee as Home Adam and Home Jen and never speak of this again." "Deal." They walked out of the office hand in hand, leaving a trail of purple brochures in their wake. Chapter 4. The Quest for the Optimal Male. While Adam and Jen were battling over brochures, Jeff was facing a crisis of a more biological nature. It started with a trip to the doctor. Audrey had been nudging Jeff toward a fertility test for months. Jeff had been resisting, mostly because the idea of a test involved effort and potential ego bruising. "I don't have slow boys, Audrey," Jeff insisted as they sat in the waiting room. "My boys are athletes. They're sprinters. They're probably already at the finish line waiting for the egg to show up." "Then why aren't we pregnant, Jeff?" "Maybe the egg has a bad sense of direction. Maybe it's stuck in traffic." The results, however, were inconclusive. The doctor suggested Jeff make some lifestyle changes. Loose underwear, no hot tubs, and a specific supplement. "Tighty whities are the enemy of progress," the doctor had said. Jeff was devastated. "Boxers? Audrey, when I run in boxers, it feels like someone is shooting dice in my pants. It's chaotic." But then, a miracle happened. Or at least, that's how Jeff told the story. A few days later, a second test came back. The doctor called Jeff personally. "Mr. Bingham," the doctor said, sounding genuinely impressed. "I don't know what you did, but you have, well, for lack of a better term, super sperm." Jeff nearly dropped the phone. "Super sperm? Like, they have capes?" "They are incredibly motile and numerous. You are, biologically speaking, a stallion." Jeff didn't just walk home. He marched. He felt like he was glowing. He stopped at the doorman's desk. "Hey, Frank," Jeff said. "Guess who has super sperm?" "I'm just trying to deliver the mail, Mr. Bingham," Frank sighed. By the time he got upstairs, Jeff had told the cab driver, the guy in the elevator, and was considering calling his high school wrestling coach. "Audrey!" Jeff shouted, bursting through the door. "Behold, the man, the myth, the biological anomaly." "I heard, Jeff. You told the entire building." "It's a gift, Audrey. I'm like a koi pond down there. Pure, vibrant life." But Jeff's ego was soon checked by another looming deadline, the life insurance exam. "Monday morning," Audrey reminded him. "They're going to weigh you and check your blood pressure. If you're in the optimal male category, our premiums go down. If you're average, we pay more. And if you're, well, Jeff, We might be in trouble. Jeff looked at himself in the mirror. He was exactly 10 pounds over the optimal limit. 10 pounds? Jeff scoffed. I can lose 10 pounds in a weekend. I used to do this for wrestling. It's all about the high school method, no food, constant cardio, and a lot of crying in the shower. That's incredibly unhealthy, Audrey said. Challenge accepted. The weekend became a grueling montage of Jeff wearing 3 layers of sweatpants and running on a treadmill while staring at a picture of a cheeseburger for motivation. He became irritable. He began to hallucinate that the furniture was made of bread. Jeff, eat a cracker, Audrey begged. No! Crackers are the path to mediocrity. I will be optimal. By Sunday night, Jeff was a shadow of his former self. He was pale, shaking, and his voice had dropped an octave. I am a stallion, he whispered, staring at a bowl of fruit as if it were a pile of diamonds. The final test of Jeff's resolve came in the form of Russell Dunbar. Russell had invited them to a high society benefit dinner. Russell was co-hosting the event, which was really just a thinly veiled attempt to impress a woman named Clarissa. It's for the Gentle Embrace Society, Russell explained as they arrived at the ballroom. It's a very important charity that does something. I think it involves children, or animals, or maybe children who look like animals. It's a literacy charity, Russell, Audrey said, looking at the program. Right. Books. I love books, especially the ones with pictures of yachts. The room was filled with Manhattan's elite. Jennifer and Adam were there too. Jennifer had invited her ex-boyfriend Drake to the event partly to fill Russell's table, and partly to see if Adam would get jealous. Adam, surprisingly, was getting along great with Drake. He's a 6'4" douchebag, Adam whispered to Jen, but his stories about polo are fascinating. I hate myself for liking him. Jeff, meanwhile, was dying. The smell of the Kobe beef fillet being served was like a physical assault. Just one bite, Jeff whimpered. No, Jeff, Audrey said, holding his hand. Think of the premiums. Think of the title. Optimal male. Suddenly, the MC approached the table. And now, a few words from our newest board member, Russell Dunbar. Russell stood up, looking remarkably confident for a man who didn't know what charity he was supporting. Thank you, Russell said into the microphone. I first got involved with the Gentle Embrace Society because I was concerned about the environment for children and their animals. But mostly, I'm here because of a very serious problem. A problem that touches us all. He paused for dramatic effect. I'm talking about leprosy. The room went silent. Someone dropped a fork. Clarissa looked like she wanted to melt into the floor. Leprosy, Russell continued, gaining momentum. It's disgusting, these gross people. They need our help. They can't read because their fingers are, well, you know, it's a tragedy. Audrey leaned over to Jeff. He thinks it's a leprosy charity. This is the best night of my life, Jeff whispered, his hunger momentarily forgotten. Russell was eventually pulled off stage by a horrified organizer. It's literacy, Russell! Literacy! Lepers can't read? Russell shouted as he was led away. My God, they can't catch a break. As the night wound down, Jeff sat in the back of a cab, leaning his head against the cool glass. He hadn't eaten a single bite of the Kobe beef. He hadn't even had a crouton. I did it, he whispered. I'm optimal. You are, Audrey said, kissing his cheek. You're the most optimal, super sperm-carrying, sarcastic man I know. And tomorrow, Jeff said, his eyes glazing over with a beautiful dream. Tomorrow, I'm going to eat a plate of hot dogs so large it will require its own zip code. I expect nothing less. Across the city, in their small apartment, Adam and Jennifer were finally alone. The drama of mothers, ex-boyfriends, and brochures had settled. So, Adam said, pulling Jen close. You still want to marry me? Even if my mom is a nudist and I'm a terrible boss? I do, Jennifer laughed, but on one condition. Anything. We never, ever go on a vacation with Jeff and a timeshare presentation again. Deal. In the distance, the lights of the Chrysler Building sparkled against the black velvet of the New York sky. It was a city of millions of stories, of broken satellite dishes and super sperm, of awkward hot tubs and misunderstood charities. And for these four friends, it was exactly where they were meant to be. The end. For now, Rules of Engagement, The Manhattan Chronicles. Chapter 1. The High Definition Mirage. The pixelated glory of the 60-inch high-definition screen bathed Jeff Bingham's living room in a rhythmic electronic blue glow. For Jeff, this wasn't just a television, it was a sanctuary, a window into a world where the grass was greener, the jerseys were crisper, and the hits felt visceral. Beside him, Adam Rhodes leaned back, his eyes glazed with the kind of adoration usually reserved for religious icons. "That was great, man," Adam sighed, the remnants of a six-pack scattered around his feet like fallen soldiers. "I love watching games on your TV. It's like I can see the sweat on the quarterback's forehead." Jeff took a slow, methodical swig of his beer. "Well,